Before time etched its story upon the cosmos, there existed a realm where legends were born, a universe bathed in the shimmering light of infinite possibilities, where each twinkling star whispered tales of heroes and their odysseys. Welcome to a journey where galaxies collide and destinies are forged in the crucible of time itself. Welcome to Legends by Amazing Colors Monday Night Mass. Legends by Amazing Colors Monday Night Mass. By Amazing Colors Monday Night Mass. Monday Night Mass. It's Monday Night Mass. Legends assemble and use your powers to defend and break free.
Today. Located inside Rider Excursion at the Esplanade Mall, we handle both small and large orders with speed and precision. For fast, quality t-shirt printing, call Instaprint at 473-422-1011. Get your perfect print today at Instaprint. Printing done in an instant.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. And of course, welcome to another edition of the Wake Up Club. It is a fantastic Friday. I hope you've taken my advice and that you are showing and understanding the need to be gracious, the need to show gratitude. You didn't wake up this morning just so. Papa God wake you up this morning. I know you might need a cup of coffee, or in your cup might be the responsibilities you have for your children, to get to work, whatever it is. I hope that you are showing gratitude and that you're appreciative of the another day, breath of life, all that you have to do. Listen, folk, I know you have other options, and I'm really happy that you've decided to join us this morning on the Wake Up Club. Now, we have a very good show for you this morning. We're going to be talking health, and we're going to be talking health, different aspects of health. We're going to be talking about gastro, we're going to be talking about dengue, we're also going to be talking about mental health. And I'm happy to have two gentlemen, and guess what, both of them from Golf. Listen, no, I shouldn't say both of them from Golf, because I get a lot of licks, because people that say there's more to St. John than Golf, so they will correct me if they're not from the town of Golf, which part of St. John they're from. I have the Senior Health Promotions and Communications Officer responsible for communications and public info, Mr. Kevin Frederick. And I also have Dr. Moses Rodriguez. He's a clinical psychologist. And guess what? Both of them from the parish of St. John. Folk, I am happy that you've joined us this Friday. Remember to be gracious, remember that gratitude, and remember to spread kindness. We take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll be chatting about what irks Kirk.
Pick yourself up with Ride Rent a e-bike today and take advantage of the smartest and coolest way to get around. Rental starting for only $30 per hour and less than $100 EC per day. Zip through traffic, save money, and look awesome doing it. Check us out at the Esplanade Mall today. Visit us online at riderzbike.com or give us a call at 473-422-1011. Your wallet and the planet will thank you. Ride Rent a e-bike.
Good morning and welcome back. And look how I'm about to get in trouble. The last time I spoke about Spice Mask, I got in trouble. Some people got their feelings hurt, and I am probably now going to be unemployable for Spice Mask after I talk about today's topic, because some of you very sensitive, very, very sensitive. But listen, is it only me that not feeling the Spice Mask vibe? Listen, we just about 6 weeks away from Spice Mask. Am I the only person that not feeling the energy? What's really going on? Okay. Now I know you're putting all kind of thing up on social media because we now pandering to a social media world. But listen, I ain't feeling the energy. I ain't seeing no life coming out of those Calypso tents. And I know those Calypso tents happening. So I really want to encourage you all at Spice Mass to do something for us to feel the energy. After the launch of Spice Mass, everything just went so blue. No energy. Nothing to encourage us to keep jumping and to keep getting excited about Spice Mass 2024. I know you're going to vex because I'm talking about it. Okay, and I know you're sensitive. But listen, them vendors also quarreling. I hear a vendor complaining that now they have to pay $800 to vend on the carnage. Yes, $800. It gone up to vend on the carnage. Now these people hardly made any money last year. Okay? And you're responsible for that. And you know why you're responsible for that? Because you have not made Spice Mass, or you've stopped Spice Mass from being a spectator event. Okay? And you're responsible, and let me tell you why you're responsible. You're responsible because you have all sorts of rules in place that you don't enforce. Okay? The Monday Night Mass ban ain't reaching Lagoon Road sometimes till 11 p.m. Long ago, by 6, 7 o'clock, them bands, them move in. So the vendors couldn't make her money. No, you have all rules in place. And let me tell you what we're good at as Grenadians. We're good at crossing I's and dotting T's on paper to say that we have the rules and regulations in place. But enforcing the rules and regulations, out the door. We just like to, yes, we have that covered. Yes, we have that covered, but no enforcement. Okay, and I'm talking fancy bands too. They leaving, sometimes the first band ain't reaching Lagoon Road till about 6 in the afternoon, so you can't come out and spectate. I know long ago you used to be able to bring your children. You're all up by the craft center, you stand up and you'll be able to bring your children to watch Monday Night Mass. Now you can't do it because the first band ain't crossing till 11 o'clock, and guess what? All of them line up since 6 o'clock, eh? And you're wondering why the vendors can't make a money. You're responsible for that. But no, you decide to increase the fee this year. Now the band leaders also complaining because I see you have some kind of rule that I really don't understand. As I tell you, I know you will get vexed. You can't be so sensitive. People are allowed to talk and people are allowed to express their opinion. They used to say all kind of thing about me when I was sitting in the seat. My backboard, I used to have to take it. Listen, I hear you telling them bands now, those that have 1,000+ people, that they only allowed one music truck. And if any other truck, we're talking food truck, we're talking music truck, they have to pay an additional $5,000 per truck. I'm really trying to figure out what's really going on. You're also telling them they can't have toilet trucks in the band. Listen, you're going to put portable potties along the route? You will ensure those portable potties are maintained to the highest standard? I really feel you need to, how did I say, reel and come again, Spice Mass. I know all you go vex, or you probably wouldn't call me and give me no work to man no gate. But I had to say what I say. If you vex, you vex. The problem is structure. You have all the rules in place. You have everything in place. All the routes. What time you're supposed to be at the starting point. But nobody listens to you. Now, if there are consequences, if a band is supposed to move out at 6:30 or 7 o'clock, and they move out at 7 o'clock, pull them aside and tell them stay right there. They got to fit right there. Because you have to understand that it's not just about the masqueraders, it's about the spectators too. It's about the national product. So you need to make sure it happens, because I know for sure that people, when they have mass on the parkway, if the truck ain't move at a certain time, the truck park up and it ain't moving at all. Okay? You will also encourage masqueraders to be on time to show up to make sure they get the whole jam session from start to finish. Because if they show up late and they only get 1 hour jump, then it is their responsibility. I'm just saying, I want you all to think about it. Okay? Maybe you need to recalculate, because I think you're starting to forget who the stakeholders are. The band leaders, the vendors, They're the stakeholders, the artists. Some of them artists complaining they're trying to have the little fete, and when they go the type of fee they're being charged to have the fete, they have to wonder what happening. I just talking, or as they say, I just running my mouth this morning. Spice Mass, if you're vexed, is your face. People are allowed to talk. Folk, we're going to be right back. That's what irks me this morning. We're going to be right back. We're going to be chatting with two professional men. We're going to be talking about dengue. We're going to be talking about gastro because it seems to be hitting Grenada in a big way. And we're also going to be talking about mental health. We'll be right back.
Time etched its story upon the cosmos. There existed a realm where legends were born, a universe bathed in the shimmering light of infinite possibilities, where each twinkling star whispered tales of heroes and their odysseys. Welcome to a journey where galaxies collide and destinies are forged in the crucible of time itself. Welcome to Legends by Amazing Colors Monday Night Mass. Legends by Amazing Colors Monday Night Mass. Assemble and use your powers to defend and break free.
Welcome back. And of course, this morning I'm joined by the Senior Health Communications and Promotions Officer, Mr. Kevin Frederick, and also my very good friend, Dr. Moses Rodriguez. He's a clinical psychologist. Gentlemen, welcome to the program.
Hi, Cobb. Thank you. Good morning.
Okay, now listen, you know I might have put my foot in my mouth. So to you gentlemen, which part of St. John you guys from? Kevin?
I am from the tongue of Guelph.
So you from Guelph. So I put my foot in the mouth where you are concerned. Okay. Correct. Dr. Rodriguez, which part of St. John you from?
Well, I am also from Guelph, in fact, specifically Central Guelph Estate.
Okay, good. So gentlemen, of course, welcome to the program. Kevin, I want to start with you because, you know, I just talk carnival and I probably go get in a lot of problems for running my mouth, but, you know, my back broad. But as we enter into the season for carnival, you know, I've been listening to the news and stuff, and we seem to have a little outbreak of gastro going on right now. Tell us what's happening or what we should look out for.
Well, Cock, let me start by saying again, good morning to yourself, to also my fellow panelists who I know very well from Central. You know, and also to Junior and the entire Ride Along family, and most importantly, the Wake Up Club posse, I would say. I want to start by saying the health issues that we are going to talk about, when one understands what is happening, obviously it can also affect the mental health. And I am certain that Doc will echo such sentiments because what we are about to really talk about is serious business. You are correct. We have been noticing an increase in gastro-related cases as it stands, Kirk. And I like to go for the jugular, so I'm going to do that right away. As it stands, you know, our numbers are pretty high, and so we want your viewing audience to understand that what we are doing here this morning is what we often tell people that they should be doing. Take information from the trusted source. And I want to say, first of all, on behalf of the Ministry of Health, also on behalf of the Ministry of Mental Health, Wellness, and Religious Affairs, thank you so much for allowing us to be on this show, because the more information we can share out there, it does all of us well. Public information has a lot of value. The value on that here is that we are all working in synergy to save lives. And so, Cock, the gastro outbreak that we are seeing, it is affecting both the under fives and the over fives. And by that I mean children who are under 5 years and also the ones who are over 5 years, right up to adulthood. Um, the cause of the gastro, as we know, and that's based on our latest information as it relates to sampling, from CAFA. We have also identified the SAPO virus. The SAPO virus was first discovered in 1977. That's in one of the provinces in Japan. I think it is called Sapporo, something like that. Hence the reason why it was named after that. So that's one of the causing, well, the causes. That's one of the causative agents. We are also looking at norovirus and also that of salmonella.
Okay.
However,
hold on. You talk about this Sapo virus. It's the first time I'm hearing about it. What really is it?
well, it's just like, okay, it's one of the viruses that is linked to the same salmonella family. Then,
Okay.
right? Oftentimes, we would hear of different viruses, and it's just because they are named after maybe the person who discovered it or where it was discovered. So, but like I said, it was first discovered in 1977. That was a long time ago, even before I was born.
Okay.
So the thing about it here is that we are seeing the cases rising, and we have been encouraging persons to take preventative measures. Cook, we are talking prevention because prevention is better than cure. We have heard that many times. And so, what persons need to understand is that the best way to prevent the outbreak is to go back to the same principles that we have been preaching about during the COVID-19 pandemic. That is hand washing. Washing your hands properly for 30 seconds or more with clean running water and soap. Now, you wash your hand and cook. I did a training once and I asked people how to properly wash your hands. And you would be amazed that a lot of adults don't wash their hands properly.
Okay.
But the hand washing technique is important because bacteria and virus, for example, can live under the nails, right? So we wash our hands first by turning on the tap, wetting our hands, getting the soap, and we rub our hands like this. Then we rub the back of our hands, both hands. We do the thumb like this, both thumbs. Now we rub like this between the fingers. We scrub here in a circular motion to make sure that we can also get underneath the nails. Then we rinse and we take the towel, we dry our hands first, and the same towel we use it to close the tap, discard the used towel in the bin. That's a proper way to wash your hands. And we advise that if you do not have soap and running water, to use an alcohol-based hand sanitizer that has about 60 to about 75% or more alcohol in it, so that it is going to kill the germs and so on.
Okay.
Now,
Kevin, just before you go, what are some of the symptoms? How will I know
Well-
if I have the Sapo virus?
that's well. Let us say, how will you know if you have gastro? And that's where I was going down. So some of the symptoms for gastro will, of course, include persons feeling a bit nauseous. Vomiting is one of the primary or most notable symptoms people will see. Now, also they will see things like diarrhea. Some people do have high fever and abdominal cramps and pain and so on, along with headache. So these are some of the telltale signs that one can really observe if they are affected by gastro. But importantly, gastro is a disease that can be managed at home. But what we find happening to a number of people are rushing to the emergency department, and that is causing a lot of overcrowding. Now, we often tell people panic visits don't mean that you will get seen immediately
Okay.
because if you follow the advice, yes, we always tell you you should seek medical advice after having spoken to your private physician or visited any one of our medical facilities. And thankfully, our medical facilities are spread out across Grenada within a 3 mile radius. So you will find a number of health facilities in every parish across Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique. And so that's why we often tell people, to follow the advice because the advice is what is really going to help you recover. So how can persons also prevent gastro? We often tell people drink safe and clean water. Avoid swimming in contaminated water sources like pools and so on. So people like the swimming pools, but you may not know what the person before you would have done in that swimming pool. So like you might be vacationing or you're doing a day pass in one of our hotels, or so, our guest houses, and you go into the pool, you do not know who went in the pool before you. Chances are you may ingest water because gastro is spread from hand to mouth. We call it the fecal oral route, hands to mouth. So we often tell people be mindful of that. Likewise, ensure proper and safe handling of foods. So ensure that the food is properly cooked. Now you and I know, and I heard you speaking about it earlier with Spice Mass. Sometimes you will see vendors, and you will see roadside vendors. They handling money. They taking that same hand. They don't have a food glove, but they picking up the chicken, the chips, whatever it is, the bread, and they will cut and prepare food for you. That hand is what is picking up all of the germs. Remember, Corp, money, for example, is very dirty.
Mhm.
If you think that money don't have drums, that's the biggest mistake you're making. Just like going into our ATMs, everybody pressing the same numbers, right? So, and you do not know what the person before you did. So you often have to take preventative measures to ensure that your health and safety remain of that of paramount importance.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Kevin, let's take a quick break and we'll be right back and continue the conversation. Folks, we'll
Certainly.
be right back.
Pick yourself up with Ride Rent a e-bike today and take advantage of the smartest and coolest way to get around. Rental starting for only $30 per hour and less than $100 EC per day. Zip through traffic, save money, and look awesome doing it. Check us out at the Esplanade Mall today. Visit us online at ridersebike.com or give us a call at 473-422-1011. Your wallet and the planet will thank you. Ride Rent a e-bike.
Good morning, folk. Welcome back. Of course, it's all about health this morning. We're chatting with the Senior Communications Public Information Officer at the Ministry of Health. And we're also talking mental health with Dr. Moses Rodriguez. So we're going to chat more with Kevin because he's telling us about what we need to look out for this season. And guess what, folk? It is something common that you have to do to prevent these things, but sometimes the little common things that we grew up learning as children sometimes go out the door. Kevin?
Yes, Kirk. Thank you again. So let me share briefly, Kirk, what our numbers are looking like so people will understand where we're heading. Now, currently, there are 215 confirmed cases of gastro, that is among the over fives, which represents a 38.7 increase. That's from the previous week. Now, with respect to the under fives, we have 45. Now, let me tell you this. The numbers keep climbing and climbing and climbing. And gastro can kill, and people need to understand that. Gastro can kill. You may have
No. Hold on there. You just tell us not to rush to the hospital, and then you telling us gastro can kill, Kevin.
Yes. The reason why I am telling you this is because remember, prevention is better than cure.
Okay.
So you want to avoid reaching a situation whereby you don't come down with gastro.
Okay.
Yeah? So what you need to do is to take preventative measures. Wash your hands, ensure that you wash your hands before you eat, before preparing food. Importantly, cleaning frequently touch surfaces, your television remote, your cell phone. You may have given someone a call, and then that person could have transmitted something. And we often tell people as well, stay home if you're feeling sick. No, I have friends. I was telling one of my friends that recently, that she went back to school. I said, but you're not yet healed. Oh, I'm feeling good. But you go back to school. Yeah. Now, what happened if you were to transmit that virus or bacteria onto the surface of something and then child gets it and go home? Now, you don't know where that came from. You cook might be cleaning all you know, but when they go to the school environment, they could have contracted something or on the bus, right? So we say clean, frequently touch surfaces. As I said, things like the ATM, your cell phone, doorknobs, railing handles going up the stairs and so on, elevator buttons and so on. Clean them because and if you are in the school setting, things like toys and books, especially for the pre-primaries, yeah, because they, as I just pointed out to you, Cock, the numbers are climbing and it is only going to climb higher and higher if we do not take the immediate measures now to contain it.
Well, I really hope that the corporate world, a message has gone out to the corporate world, because during COVID, everybody was sanitizing. They were sanitizing ATM machines, counters, but that seems to be a thing of the past. So I really hope that we are going to be able to encourage corporate Grenada to get on board again. Okay, this thing is serious, because if people can die from it, if it affects children under the age of 5 and those over the age of 5, and the ones under the age of 5 are more susceptible, we've got to understand the importance of sanitizing and making sure our environments are clean.
Most definitely, Cock. Most definitely. But now, if you will allow me, Cock, I want to know, just touch on another issue that is of concern to us. And earlier I said these things can also have some effect on one mental state of mind. That is because when you hear of those things, you start to go into panic mode and wonder, boy, should I go out? Should I stay home? Just as when we were seeing all of the recent increase in gun violence, I heard that shows and things bust because people want to stay home, they're concerned. So all of those things can affect us. What is important to note, Cock, is that already the rain season has started. And that too is serious, and people need not panic, but we are here to share the information, because if we do so, all the people will understand. We have seen, likewise, a total of 15 confirmed cases of dengue right now in Grenada. 15 cases. Now we are at outbreak levels with dengue, and this is a major increase and cause for concern, because when we compare it to the same period last year and the period before last year, 15 cases is a record breaker.
Okay.
I can tell you, Cock, 65% of the cases has visited the General Hospital and also Princess Alice Hospital, which more or less tells us we can get insight as to where this is really happening already. It is spread, but the concentrations are mainly from the St. Andrew side and the St. George side. Now, what causes dengue? We all know mosquito breeding. Mosquito breeding, and people need to. I remember hearing you once on your Facebook when you had to give people, 8 hour lashing, but people just stay in the bus and just throw out a box or throw out a cup or a bottle or something like that, and it collects water. And when it collects water, you have a mosquito situation. But here we are now, and this is what I wanted to get to now. So we talk about dengue. There's a mosquito in Grenada called the Culex mosquito.
The
This is
who?
public. Culex. That's
Okay.
one of the. So you have the Aedes aegypti. You also have the Culex. The Culex is the nuisance mosquito. That's the ones we just hear at nights and singing all kind of soca music in your ears. And people just say, "Oh, well, we have a lot of mosquito," and that's the nuisance mosquito. Now, importantly, is that Cuba, and if anyone don't believe that, just go online, and pull up the Militia Felt in Cuba and read what's going on. Cuba is now experiencing an outbreak of a mosquito-related illness that is also spread by the Culex mosquito, and it is called Oropouche. Some people call it Oropouche. You could go and look at it, as I said, and you will see the information right there.
Okay, tell us about that oral push.
That's where
what
I'm
are the
going.
symptoms? What do you have to look out for?
Right. So it mimics the symptoms of Zika and chikungunya and so on, with rashes and headaches and fever. Also, you will get the diarrhea and the vomiting as well. So I want people to also know that, yes, because that too is important. Now, as I said, Crook, it is carried by the Culex mosquito as well. So let me bring you where I want to bring you.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine we are dealing with dengue, right? So we are
Gastro.
really right, gastro, and now
Sapo.
well, Sapo is a virus that is causing
The gastro.
the gastro, right?
Okay.
But imagine we're dealing with gastro, dengue, and God forbid, should we start to experience an outbreak related to Culex mosquito, you see what can happen.
Yeah.
It will bring tremendous stress to our healthcare system. And so the onus is on our viewers, our listeners, and every citizen of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petite Martinique to take this thing serious and prevent mosquito breeding in and around their homes.
Okay.
That's
But
the point.
Kevin, stick around because we're going to chat some more because we're going to have to wrap up on this thing. But listen, folk, I don't know why we become complacent. As a child in school, to cover your barrels with a netting. All the different things you're supposed to do, but we become complacent. But let me tell you something, Kevin. After listening to all of that, I know, okay? Because I don't worry about gastro, I don't worry about the mosquito singing in my ear, okay? Carnival coming, so I don't know what virus will come into the island. Mentally, we had to check ourselves. So I just wanted to bring on my very good friend, Dr. Moses Rodriguez, right now. Doc, you there?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, okay, Doc, before we dive into mental health, I know you are a clinical psychologist, but listen, you're a Grenadian doing wonderful things, and I like to celebrate Grenadians who are out there doing great things. Now, your practice is in Guyana. Tell me a little bit about yourself and why Guyana and not Grenada. Because let me tell you something, we have a mental health crisis in Grenada, okay? And we don't have many professionals like you offering the service that's needed. So, I ask you 50 things in one question there. But first, tell us about yourself.
Okay, thank you so very much on behalf of my private practice, which is Dr. MJR's Psychological Clinic. I thank you for the opportunity to speak on mental health. My name is Moses John Roderick. I am a doctor of clinical psychology. And indeed, I am from GWAV, as was previously addressed. And also, just to really address your question, I am here in Guyana. I think I'm going to be real because I always tell people that, my wife is from Guyana, so I settled in Guyana, of course. And I do have a son here in Guyana as well. And also, in terms of being in Guyana professionally, I see the need, and this is not only a need where, let's say Grenada doesn't have a need, but Guyana is rated number 2 on the global scale for suicide, right?
Okay.
And so, even in my private practice and even working along with the Ministry of Health here, I have seen, just this week alone, there were a number of suicide cases. So that is where I see my niche and my impact here in Guyana. But just to capitalize on that and to clarify, I do also offer consulting to Grenadian private and public sector. So it's not to say, hey, I threw a big stone in Grenada and I ain't coming back, right?
Okay.
And I am planning to come back in August to help in mental health intervention as well.
Okay. Now let me ask you a question, because maybe I not in touch with what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Have we as a people, like in my days, you didn't hear people suffering from anxiety and depression, or maybe they were and we didn't know about it? Is it a new phenomena, or is it more prevalent now? Because the whole coping mechanisms we've had, we just spoke to Kevin about all the different physical things that are happening right now, but also in Grenada, there's a prevalence. We've had, in the past, some cases of suicide. I talk to a lot of people all the time who look at my blog and call me and tell me that they're depressed, they need help. I've had, a couple of people talk to me about wanting to commit suicide. What am I missing? Or was it always there and we just didn't take it seriously?
Well, of course, there were and there is and there will always be some sort of, let's say, mental health crisis in this world. Let's look at Grenada. Of course, we do know that, mental health is something that definitely is a dimension of wellness. And so it was affected from time immemorial to now. The thing is, with this newfound knowledge and these newfound understandings, and of course, technological advancements and new findings in science, now people are understanding or trying to understand mental health in itself. So now you see many campaigns raising awareness and advocacy and all of that. So it is now in the status quo that, hey, the littlest child is now starting to understand mental health because it's introduced now in the schools, and also the oldest adult will be understanding it as well. So, it was there before, of course, and now because of advocacy and awareness, we are seeing that rise in education and rise in being aware of what mental health is. And truly, let me just share, mental health is actually that dimension of health and wellness, and that actually includes our emotional, psychological, and social well-being. So, case in point, it affects the way we think, it affects the way we feel, and it affects the way we act. So it's always there, but now we're understanding it more and more in this era.
Okay. Now, I have to ask, well, clearly, we've let a lot of people down in the past. We probably say, oh, they're crazy, oh, they're acting up, when really and truly there was a clinical reason for their behavior. How do we deal with it? What do we do? Does a person suffering from mental health, how can they get help? Is it only through a psychologist, or, come on, I'm asking, I just don't know.
Right. Very great question. In fact, the thing is, as it relates to mental health, you see, there is a lot of what is known as stigma and discrimination surrounding mental health. And I think it's very suffice and safe to say that even in Grenada, even in the Caribbean, and in the international community, we see persons stigmatizing people when they are not feeling well, as we see upstairs, or they are actually having a mental health crisis. Now, we automatically say that they're mad, they're crazy, they're lunatics, they're nuts, they're bananas. We don't want to be around them. And so, when we should totally understand, as a disclaimer, let me just address that mental health is a dimension of wellness. And so, just as physical health is associated with our physical anatomy and physiology, we need to also understand that mental health is also important, and it affects the human capacity as well. Now, in terms of the seeking of support, and so, yes, psychologists are mental health practitioners that help you navigate your mental health problems and issues, disorders, and so. But we do have a wide array of other professionals, such as social workers, other clinicians like, counselors, psychiatrists, and the list goes on and on. So the support is there. I'm not sure if I'm jumping the gun, but I want to also, address that there's also a stigma, a marked stigma about seeking support, because now I'm here wondering, and let's look at a hypothesis here. We're waking up in the morning and we have a headache, we have a back pain, and so we know that, hey, I need to go to the general hospital by a physician because I need maybe my head hurting, my back hurting, and you get prescription, you get Panadol, you get whatever, and so forth. But what happens when we wake up in the morning and we feel as though we just can't get out of bed? Okay? Or we just believe that the world is against us, right? These are also very ironclad reasons for us to understand that we may have a crisis that is not only physical but mental. And that's where, who do we go to help us through that crisis? And that is why it's important to seek help. And I think, looking at it, we just have to raise more awareness that there is help available. Okay? There is help available.
Okay, but listen, there's a fine line because, culturally with the shift, I don't know how to differentiate someone that's just lazy. Because, I have a generation now, and I have siblings, I have nieces and nephews, and culturally, sometimes I say, listen, you've got to be up before 6, you've got to rise with the sun, and their MO is to wake up at 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. Are they depressed? Are they sick? Or are they just lazy? How, listen, I'm asking, as I tell you all, I'm not a professional. So I've got to ask the question, because we also have a generation that operates on its own way. How do I know that they're just not naturally lazy, and it's not just a new cultural phenomena, but that there's something mentally wrong?
All right, and that's very, very interesting, right? So I think we should look in the fact of indeed what laziness is and what mental health is. I think I would have addressed what mental health is. Now, you see, just to recap, mental health, it refers to our emotional, psychological, and social well-being. Now, that actually helps, when we get good mental health, we are able to manage our emotions effectively, engage in activities that bring joy, that brings fulfillment. But let's look at laziness. Laziness, on the other hand, is a behavior. And that behavior is actually characterized by a lack of motivation, by a lack of enthusiasm, or a lack of energy. And so when we have that lack, it is more or less impossible for us to perform tasks or engage in activities. Now, let me just kind of illustrate what laziness would be, and how we can actually, I can say that laziness is a temporary effect. So let's look at laziness. Laziness is actually a lack of interest or boredom. Laziness can be avoidance of your responsibilities. Laziness can be social or environmental factor that actually hinder productivity. And also, you see, that is why it's important to know that, even that we want optimum mental health, we will need to start, and I'm liking that you address this, we will need to start with a vision. We need to start with a passion. We will need to know, hey, I need mental health that is optimum, that is good. And so that's where it begins for us. And I think it all connects back to the self-awareness of what we should accomplish. We know that we should be actually exercising, dieting, and so forth, having a balanced diet, but we don't know how to actually find good, interesting things. We don't know how to find that actual motivation and that drive. So that is more or less the distinguishing factors between laziness and, let's say, good, efficient mental health.
Okay, because I often wonder if some people, like I encounter a lot of things. I do a lot of professional training, customer care, brand management, and all of that. And sometimes I feel, as I always say, I'm not a professional. I am a human being navigating life like everybody else. Sometimes I feel a lot of people use it as an excuse for not performing. Oh my God, I'm suffering from anxiety. Or am I being an idiot by assuming that some of them are using these medical terms as a crutch?
Right. I'm happy you brought that up, because here it is, and I was wishing to speak on that today. I think some medical, clinical terms, psychiatric, psychological terms are being used very loosely. Okay? I never like to hear when someone says, hey, I'm feeling depressed. Okay? I have depression. Because if you only know what depression is, you would never want to associate yourself prematurely with that particular mental health disorder. It's known as major depressive disorder. And so with that in itself, we don't want to associate with that until we know. And that is why we need to have that support system, including a mental health practitioner and also good family, friends, colleagues, neighbors, community members. Because now we're able to identify what is really wrong or what we think is wrong so that we can lead happy and healthier lives. But when we use these terms very loosely, now, we say in Grenada, like, we call things on ourselves and we don't even virtually know that it's actually true. All right. And so, I really wanted to address that the fact, if you feel a particular way, whether you feel lazy, whether you feel as though nothing is happening for you, whether you feel hopeless, whether you feel as though you have a loss in activities, and so, yeah, you may say you're lazy because you may not have an understanding that this is a mental health crisis that you're going through. This is when you need to seek professional help from a mental health practitioner. And when you seek that, you will go through the necessary consultations, analysis, assessment, diagnosis, and treatment, which is important so that you can get back on track. But one thing I also want to submit to us Grenadians today, that we come to the understanding that people go through mental health situations. And we don't have to be qualified as a psychologist or a psychiatrist or a counselor. All we need to do is to ensure that we execute meaningful connections. And that is actually to support, to guide, to have a pat on your back, to ensure you're doing good. Call a friend, call a neighbor, say, how you doing this morning? I know that you had some grief the other day. I know that your boyfriend died in an accident. Let me support you. Let me give you a visit. Let me pay you some love, some sincerity, because this world needs that support. And I think, even in Grenada, when we understand that support is necessary, we're going to get to a better, more happier and productive life, and even a better world to live in.
Now, Doc, I'm glad you said that. We're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we're going to be chatting with Kevin Frederick, and we're going to be chatting with Doc. Now, listen, I made a mistake this morning. The amount of information I should have had both of you on separate days. But listen, you're always welcome to come on to the Wake Up Club and let's talk health, mental or physical health. We'll take a quick break and we'll be right back.
Riders Excursion and Tours weekly e-bike rides. Gather your family and friends for an unforgettable ride through stunning landscapes. Book your adventure today at ridersabike.com or call 473-422-1011. Don't miss out. Let's ride.
Welcome back, folk. And of course, this morning I'm talking to the Senior Communications and Information Officer with the Ministry of Education, Ministry of Health, Kevin Frederick, and of course, clinical psychologist, Dr. Moses Rodriguez. Now, listen, two gentlemen, what gets to me after talking to both of you is that we probably need to go back to basic. When it comes to mental health, the loving thy neighbor as thyself, we stop doing that. When it comes to health, we've stopped doing the things that we know we're supposed to do. Wash our hands, sanitize our areas, cover our drums or the different vessels that are capturing water, throwing stuff out of the car and littering the environment. It's going back to basic. Kevin, welcome back. Last remarks, tell us what we can do, what we should do if we're feeling that we have one of these viruses, who we should contact, what we should do.
Well, Cook, thanks again. I would say that if you are feeling sick, right, speak to your primary care physician. You can visit one of the medical stations or health centers, as I indicated, or speak to your private doctor. They may ask you to do some oral rehydration at home. Oral rehydration salts are sold over the counter at the different pharmacies. Now, I was with Dr. Martin recently, and one of the best ways to actually stop the gastro or managing it at home is to starve yourself, right?
To what?
Yes, to starve yourself. Okay, so people sometimes will drink large amount of water and so on. Okay, it is better to sip the water. Okay, avoid things like milk, like cheese, those things. So limited quantity. If you starve yourself, you are likely to recover faster. Of course, as we always tell people to oral rehydration salts, it works. Now, and so that is so far as gastro is concerned. Now, there is guidelines as to when one should actually seek medical attention. But like I say, our focus really, is that of prevention. So, for example, now if you see, for example, vomiting lasts more than 2 days or diarrhea lasts more than 4 days with no improvement, or you are severely dehydrated, or you are experiencing severe diarrhea, vomiting, and so on, with a high fever, we encourage you to speak to your healthcare provider. On the issue of mosquito breeding, Cook, you said it already. I would just echo what you have said. We have to go back to covering our drums. We are in the rainy season. It is okay to catch water for us to use, but cover it. And somewhere we often miss is that nice fancy West drainer we have inside of our kitchen. The water will keep draining out, and check it for yourself and you will see. But we just get a dry plate and we forget to drain the West drainer. Remember, it's a West drainer, so it is going to collect water from the wells that is draining. But you have a responsibility to empty it, because I have seen in people's homes and so on where mosquitoes are breeding right in the kitchen in the West drainer, all because they didn't know that they should be emptying it. So they wash the waste and everything. Remember the life cycle of a mosquito. You could get a mosquito in your home in a week, right? And one drop of water, like we would tell people, like a bottle cup, as we would say locally. So that collecting water can give you a whole army of mosquitoes that can invade your home. So you need to check for leaks, check your septic tanks to see if there are cracks. If your washing machine is leaking, check and see, look for leaks. And in and around your home, you also need to do that. Now, a word of advice to the people who are selling the coconut. Do not just go and dump your coconut shells after you cut it to give us a nice, refreshing bottled water. Don't just go and dump it by the river or like in some bush. No. We're asking you again, please, do not do that. If you could bury it, bury it. We don't encourage burning, and you know why we don't encourage burning. But I'm certain that if you do not have a proper place to dispose of it, and you speak to the relevant authorities, maybe like fire and so on, and they can work with you, right? They may have a fire appliance on standby while you are burning, but you have to seek permission from them. However, we encourage you cut the shell as much as possible so it cannot hold water. And I say proper disposal, not just drive by some ravine and dump it there. We have seen a number of cases like that, which has given rise likewise to a proliferation of mosquitoes in and around our communities. So that's how I want to end. But permit me to let people know that we should also be on guard, stay in the know, follow this program. I endorse it wholeheartedly. Follow the Ministry of Health page, follow CAFA, PAHO, and so on, and avoid misinformation because as we speak up, the TCI just recently reported a measles outbreak, right? And so we know measles is a serious thing, but I want us to really bear in mind that the Ministry of Health currently has the MMR vaccine, which is the mumps, rubella, and measles vaccine at our various health facilities. So we encourage you to go there and get vaccinated against measles because it works. So that's how I want to end. And I want to wish you, Kirk, also my colleague, Dr. Rodriguez and Junior and the entire family here, a very blessed, productive, and safe Friday. And I hope to be speaking to you and not about you in the very, very... Cook, I will be back though.
Definitely, definitely. This is your home. Listen, this program is about empowering people and giving people the information. People meet me all the time and they're like, Cook, we want a Bacchanal Friday. And yes, you'll get a Bacchanal Friday, but this is about empowering people. And you've got to be empowered and you've got to take the information. Thank you, Fred, Kevin, and we'll chat again soon. Dr. Rodriguez. Dr. Rodriguez, you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Dr. Rodriguez, listen, we could talk about mental health from now until next week. And definitely, I'm appreciative of the fact that you took your time this morning to come and chat with us. Any last words? And before we go, I definitely want to have you back on the program because I always want to discuss this new phenomena, living your best life. So definitely, we will have to have you back on the program. But any closing words when it comes to mental health?
Yes, indeed. Thank you once again, Kirk, for the opportunity. And it was such a delight to speak on mental health. And my last remarks, in fact, a few final thoughts is that I want us to understand as Grenadians and even those who are watching in the diaspora and in the international community, that mental health is just as important as physical health. That is the first thing I want to submit and conclude with. And also that it is okay to ask for help. I need help, you need help. No man is an island. We all need persons to help us for us to reach at that part in our lives where we are successful. And I also wanted to actually remember that seeking help is a sign of strength. And I think that is what is actually not really talked about much. Seeking help is a sign of strength and is not of weakness. So when you can identify that, hey, I want help, that means you're strong. That means the fortitude is coming nicely there so that you can lead yourself to that help. And, I think we should stop telling persons when they say they need help, or you know what, you're crazy, or especially, let's talk about it. June is Men's Mental Health Month. When a man, and I'm seeing it every day, comes for help, or a family member gets involved, and so you know what they say, you're a sissy, you are gay, you are this, you're that, right? And I hate that. Okay, so it's a sign of strength. Don't be afraid, people, to reach out to a trusted friend. Don't be afraid to reach out to a trusted family member, even ultimately seek professional help from a mental health professional. Remember as well that you are definitely not alone, and you are worthy of love, you're worthy of care, you're worthy of everything good and perfect. And so take care of your mental health, submit to that, and also celebrate your strength, right? Celebrate your strength. Mental health matters. And I want us to understand that so that we can lead happier, healthier, and more fulfilling life. So thank you once again to Kirk, and also for the entire Ride Along team and the Wake Up Club. It's been an honor, it's been a privilege, it's been a delight, and I look forward to coming back once again. Thank you. Have a wonderful day and have a healthy day. Remember, you are strong, you are brave, you are talented, you're special, you're important, you're kind, and don't let anything keep you down from rising to success.
Thank you very much, Dr. Rodriguez. Of course, you know, folks, you're looking at the Wake Up Club. Had two extraordinary guests this morning. We were talking to the senior communications officer within the Ministry of Health. We're talking about dengue, about gastro, about SAPO, and other things you need to look out for, including measles. We also touched on mental health today as well. And as I always say, please remember to find that greatness within yourself, okay? And seeking help is not a sign of weakness. It is a sign of strength. You trying to get yourself out of the situation that you're currently in. Folks, remember, sometimes I have to remind you to go back to basics. Love your neighbor as yourself. If you're a friend, be a good friend. When last did you pick up the phone and call and check on that friend? In fact, I challenge you today, okay? Everybody that's looking at this program, reach out to at least 2-3 people and just check on them. Folks, you're listening to and looking at the Wake Up Club on the Ride Along platform. See you on Tuesday. Have a fantastic Friday and a blessed weekend. See you soon.
What if you had a choice? A choice of joining a line or a choice of making your purchases online? What would you choose? While you ponder on that, the National Lotteries Authority has provided another purchasing option. All their games are now available online. Yes, Grenadians! From wherever you are, purchase your favorite daily and jackpot type games using any electronic device. Register on the NLA's website at www.nla.gd. Top up your account and enjoy online lottery gaming at your convenience. We're taking shopping comfort up several notches, but the choice is yours. Join a line or buy online. NLA, make your dreams come true.